A54 Buxton towards Congleton. As we can see now, the road environment has changed on this type of road. Looks relatively open, but because of the undulations, you can always hide vehicles coming towards you, or there can be hazards in some of these dips. Just get the sign reinforcing there telling us about the undulations. We're still in the 50 miles an hour speed restricted area, and a hazard warning line in the centre of the carriageway, just by the sheer nature of some of these bends and the soft verges on either side of the carriageway. Into right-handers, we generally position ourselves in towards the near side to extend our view around right-hand bends. Similarly, into left-hand bends, we're looking to be towards the centre line, bearing in mind any oncoming vehicles. Always sacrifice your position for safety. And just look at some of the road issues we've got here. Parked vehicle on the offside, we've got a road repair in the centre of our own carriageway, and a little bit of dampness on the near side there. Some of these undulations are quite steep, so in other words, if you're going too fast, you could virtually come out of the seat if you're not too careful. Bit of a long straight now, we're looking well ahead. We can see that the undulation dips away from us into a zone of invisibility. Who knows whether some of them sheep have got out of that field and been stood in the road as we come round this slight left-hand bend. Always downhill, always a bit more difficult to kind of keep the speed where it needs to be. We need to be watching that speedometer. So we're losing the speed on the throttle. We can see we're going towards a tight left-hand bend, reinforced by the sign on the near side. Easing back now and using the brakes. Slow on the road twice, and it's backed up the left-hand bend by the chevron boards. Positioning out towards the white line to extend our view, but always be prepared to sacrifice that position for safety. Still got that hazard warning line in the centre of the carriageway as we're still going downhill. Good cross view, we could just see the road in the distance there, a white vehicle going to the right. Again, signs telling us now all this information is there for us to look at. Now coming behind a slower moving vehicle, slow on the road again, junction to the near side, and the road going downhill and to the right. Very, very tight right-hander this. You can't see because of the camera angle, but this goes really probably about 100 degrees to the right. All the way around. There's the vehicle that we were following down the hill, down into another left-hand bend. Hazard warning line in the centre of the carriageway still. Okay, still on the A54 towards Congleton. Hazard line in operation. Warning signs telling us about bends and the road going round to the left with a junction off the apex. As we go into this right-hander, we're positioning in towards the near side to extend that view around the right-hand bend. It's the safest place for us to be. Using the cross views where possible. No vehicles in that offside junction to worry about at this moment. And position ourselves towards that white line, the correct speed in the correct gear, and using constant acceleration as we go around these bends. Formulating our riding plan. Got to be able to see which direction we're going in. We will need to be positioning ourselves into this near side for this right-hand bend to see some of these oncoming vehicles. And have you basing your riding plans on what you can see, what you can't see, and what you can reasonably expect to happen, and having a contingency plan if something does go slightly wrong. So as we go into this tight left-hand bend, it's uphill. We can lose a little bit of road speed with the acceleration. We're positioning slightly away from that white line just in case something large comes towards us, i.e. big LGV. As the view starts to open up, we can afford ourselves to go out towards the white line, and there's that LGV that I was just talking about. That potentially we could have met that on that previous bend. Again, moving out back to that white line in anticipation of this next left-hand bend. Being able to see right round the bend gives us an early opportunity to deal with any hazards that come our way. Could be vehicles, could be pedal cyclists, could be sheep, could be a number of variations. We're now starting to go downhill, bends to the right and then the left. As we go over the brow of the hill, again positioning slightly out towards the white line to extend that view, and then tucking ourselves into the near side in anticipation for the next right-hand bend. Always appropriate gear usage, so downhill would take a gear lower than you're probably used to. That helps with braking on the downhill sections, and obviously if we are going too fast, then feathering the brakes on the straight stretches. Early indication there to get out nice and early for that parked tractor. They were the kind of hazards we've been talking about. As you come over the brow of a hill, don't be surprised to find a tractor or something like that stopped. We're in a very, very rural location, so always expect the unexpected. As we go downhill, always difficult. The bike wants to run away with you. You've got to be in control. Ease off the brakes on the straights as we go into the bends, and then use constant acceleration and try and keep away from some of these bad road surfaces or the surface changes. The telegraph poles on the near side are giving us a good indication of where the roads are going round to and how severe they are. And if you have the ability to use the limit point, that's the furthest point along the road which you have an unobstructed view, we can use that to our advantage. It gives us a good indication of how tight or not a bend will be. Into this next left-hander, and then we're told about the right-hand bend, slow on the road, tucking ourselves in towards the near side. backed up with the chevron board and we're still in the 50 miles an hour speed restriction areas.